Let's get it.
All right, everyone, we're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome to the November edition of the Microsoft 365 Champions Program Community Call. I'm so happy to see all of you. My name is Caruana Gatimu. I'm the director of the Customer Advocacy Group for AI and Collaboration. And I have been the steward of this community for, I think, 7 or 8 years now. I am fresh off the road from Ignite, and I'm so happy to be here with you today to share everything I learned there and on all of the new updates that we have going on. So very happy to be with you. As always, we have our digital event code of conduct. Be kind, be pleasant. If you see any violations, let us know. We'll make sure that this is a safe and welcoming environment for everyone. Inclusivity is so important in our communities here and everywhere. We have a packed agenda for all of you today. Oh my goodness, so many things to talk about. I probably won't drain every single slide, but you'll have them to study. And as always, we provide the links to all of the blog posts and everything that you need to be successful. Right now, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Jessie so she can tell us all about what's going on at adaption@microsoft.com. You're on mute, my friend. There you go.
My brain's on vacation already. Hey, everyone. Welcome to the last community call of the year. If you don't know who I am, I'm on Caruana's team. I'm Jessie Huang, and I manage and curate all the content that's on adoption@microsoft.com. So we started doing these monthly updates. In case you missed the newsletter, here's kind of a high-level highlights of what we've published. Keep in mind, we do publish twice a week, so there's content coming in all the time. Sometimes it's big, like for Ignite. Sometimes it's small. It's an update to a blog, it's an update to a white paper, that kind of stuff. So since the last time we chatted, and since Ignite, we've had a lot of new pages. The first one, and Caruana is going to go through this, is the Essential Guide to Copilot Adoption. We know the framework is very complicated. The adoption of Copilot is complicated. So we are now trying to distill that into the essentials. What do you really, really need? And this is going to get iterated on and further simplified as time goes. But you'll get a preview into that in the next few slides. We also have new agent creators. Now, these are folks in the community, in the agent community, that are making agents and putting them out there. And so you can read about them, their bios, their LinkedIns, and what they're working on through that link. Now, we also launched the Employee Self-Service Agent. This is a new agent. We call it the ESS. And this is to help your employees in your org stay better connected with the things that are happening, the things they need to know, et cetera, et cetera. Also, the Change Needs Makers video series. This is really cool. Check it out. We've got at least two videos up right now. And it's really about just change needs makers. So it's folks that are making waves and they're putting themselves out there, making these changes and being at the forefront of all this. Check it out. Also, we have new updates to the agent templates and examples. So I think there's like 5 or 6 of them that have been updated completely, new zip files, new images, etc. So you can go and download those there. We have new resources for Agent 365, Sales Development Agent, which is a new name, rebrand, Project Opal, really cool thing, Cloud PC. All those new resources have been added to the Frontier page and Copilot Studio. So you can get more details in our release notes, or you can also subscribe to the RSS feed. Back to you, Caruana. Thank you.
Thank you, Jessie. Yes, lots of things. And to Jessie's point, we're going to go through some of those in a little more detail. Let's hop in now to some of the key updates from the roadmap. This one is important. The Microsoft Lists mobile app is going to retire. We have replaced that with the actual web experience. People can still get to their lists. They should use the web. We won't be maintaining the mobile app anymore. So if you have that out in your environment, you'll want to help people know how to pin and save the actual web view for their mobile applications. This one warms my heart. The new planner in Microsoft Teams is now available to customers in GCC. Hi, yay. We're continuing to work on closing that gap between our commercial environments and GCC and GCC High. And so that experience is available on the web and should be rolling out to tenants near you soon. And lastly, Agents in Channels is in public preview. This is an important turn, and you'll see us talk more about this when we talk about the essentials, giving people access to those agents in places where we hope that they're working as we move people more and more into channels in Microsoft Teams and out of that group chat experience, which we'll have materials for over the course of the next quarter or so, is going to be important, and giving them access there so that they can do more cool things that are coming in agents directly in channels. So you'll want to test that out so that you can help people understand the value of working in channels. And as I mentioned, we will have some new adoption materials for that specific campaign coming up very soon. So now I am going to hop into one of our major topics, which is all about this framework simplification and change. Those of you who have been following the Copilot Success Kit know that we have an implementation framework, which we reiterated for the rise of AI. And we took our existing M365 framework and made changes to it. We've had that in the Copilot Success Kit for some time now, since the beginning of this Copilot journey. However, we've gotten lots of feedback from people that it needed some adjustment. And so myself and many other people inside Microsoft led a broad V team to make changes there. I've included here in the deck the slides that we use inside Microsoft to actually talk about the objectives of the framework and what we wanted to accomplish with this work that we were doing going forward. We really wanted to iterate on the framework, and we wanted to be closer to having one framework across all of Microsoft. There's something called the Cloud Adoption Framework that has been previously applicable pretty much only to Azure. A Copilot Studio was using the classic plan, deploy kind of ITIL framework from days gone by. And then, of course, in Microsoft 365, we had the new one, the iterated one that we have been working on. And so that's super confusing. Why are there three, Microsoft? And so anytime you make a big pivot like this, it takes a lot of work and a lot of people inside Microsoft to get them to all see the vision of having something that could be seen and could be used across all these experiences. So we call this, I named this, the Unified Taxonomy. So our Unified Taxonomy is really even more important now because of the fact that we can use this taxonomy and the framework phases to identify content for agents to serve up to you. Right now, you all go to a web page and you download content and you tweak it for your own implementation. Soon, you're going to be simply putting in a prompt into an agent box and it will make your adoption plan for you. It still needs human ingenuity, creativity, and implementation. But we are moving to agents playing a larger role in the creation of these customized adoption frameworks. We are actually building that agent right now. It will be in public preview soon. And so it's important for us to have this shared framework. We have some guiding principles on this framework. Whenever you do a big project with a lot of people who don't work together, it's a good idea to write these guiding principles down. But this is a little bit of a master class on how to drive change in a large organization, because that is what we had to do to get this done. We started on this last June. And are finally releasing it into preview now. And of course, Ignite is a lovely forcing function to get people to make decisions because we knew we wanted to get this out to all of you, right? When you all understand what we're doing, it's easier for you to implement our products. That makes all of us successful. And the context of all of this stuff matters. And content needs to be actionable, right? And so you can see these guiding principles here, but really getting people aligned on what the core objectives are, again, is a change management best practice that we implement when we do this work inside Microsoft. So now the Persistere Resistance is the framework itself. I know that this is what we call an iBleeder slide. So this is in the deck. You can review it later. I'll be doing a webinar on this in particular and making some follow-up videos and what have you. But now the framework and going forward for all of Microsoft 365, Copilot, all the various flavors of it, and Copilot Studio will be the same over time. This will also extend to our documentation. If you go and look at our Teams documentation right now, you'll see it's kind of all askew. But the Copilot doc set has actually already been reorganized into plan, implement, adopt, manage, and improve. Okay, well, these are the phases, very similar to the cloud adoption framework. Underneath each one, you can see the old and the other framework identities or phase names that align to that. Right down from that in this area here, right here, I'm going to use my pointer, is what is the activity that is happening and what are the questions that are being asked and hopefully answered by this particular phase of the framework? And then what are the outcomes that we're driving from each phase? For those of you, many of you are professional change folks. So this makes sense to you, right? You can take this and align materials and activities. We all know that a large scale implementation plan for any technology is a multi-row, project plan. I think my default project plan for Copilot used to be, 150 lines or something, but everybody wants it to be short and simple, right? And so being able to move this into a shorter and simple thing and really understand what makes customers successful, what really makes them successful. If they don't do anything we recommend, right? What are the key elements that they need to achieve to make sure that the change lands and that they have a foundation for the iterative process that we know happens in change, right? Change is not a defined project with 15 steps and that's it. No, it's something that you look at constantly. That's why the last phase, improve, is so important, because you're looking at data and you're figuring out what you're going to do next. This is all reflected in the new Copilot Essentials Guide. You have to have a plan, right? You have to have a shared team of technical and change folks together with a plan. You have to get those licenses out, pick the right users, and get it in the hands of people. And then you have to have a community that you can nurture with great content and where people can come together to learn together and create that culture of learning. And then you have to look at all the data, look at the feedback, and continue to communicate and guide people through the experience. That, at the bottom line, is what you have to do. Right? Get a plan, get the experience into the hands of the right folks, make sure there's a community. The community, actually, however you choose to do that, whether that's in Viva Engage or in some other application, is absolutely essential. And we've seen this in people who have implemented Copilot around the world. And we saw it before in Teams and in other places, that when you have a community where people can come together and you can centralize communication, and good community managers are keeping that content fresh with the help now of AI, that's a huge differentiator in the organization's process of doing this implementation. So at the end of the day, people want to get stuff done. And this is the way in which we are really super simplifying the content. Now, you can still get to all of the Copilot Success Kit materials and the deep dive information. Those of you who are professionals or who work in very large organizations are going to need that Success Kit. But for people just getting started or who really want to just get running and see what happens, you can use these essentials. This page that's out there now is the first revision that we got ready for Ignite. We'll have more content coming in December, more integration of the pages. We're also doing significant work on our Signario library. By the time we get to end of January, most all of this will be totally refreshed, and we're also pushing this through all the rest of the services with our new adoption content for Teams, SharePoint, OneDrive, and more. So big lift that we're doing here. We're also going back and filling those gaps like in SharePoint and Teams with some of the basics, refreshing the basics. And as I mentioned earlier, you're going to be seeing that Teams channel adoption program coming out along with our refresh of the Getting Stuff Done campaign. So we're very excited about this. It was a lot of work. And I want to thank everybody for the feedback that you all have given around this content. All right. I'm going to keep going because I want to make sure that we have some time at the end to have conversation and I can answer questions about it. If you already have questions, please put them in the chat. And we will be doing a new customer hub session on adoption that reflects the new framework. We probably won't record that until January, until we have some more of the new content available, as well as new content on this on Coffee in the Cloud, which of course is on my YouTube channel where I put most of this good stuff. Okay, now we're going to turn to Microsoft Ignite. This year, I was not hosting the show. I actually got to be down on the show floor, talking to people, meeting lots of you. It was so wonderful to meet people in person who've been a part of this community or others over time. But there was a lot of new information, not just new features, but actually new concepts. And I wanted to make sure that you had them because you're going to hear your leaders start talking about them potentially. And if they're not, they probably should be. So let me talk about this first idea, AI in the flow of human ambition. This is Microsoft's way of saying, look, AI is great. It's a tool, but it needs to be in the flow of human creativity, ambition, objectives, and productivity to be meaningful, right? AI isn't meaningful without us. We are the competitive differentiation in any AI implementation. And so the investment in people in workforce transformation is the most important thing that you can do when thinking about an AI implementation. So we'll be saying that loudly from many places. So hopefully folks will hear that. And also, we have landed a new term called Work IQ. Work IQ, many of you know the Microsoft Graph, right? It is the data layer underneath all of the Microsoft 365 services, and Copilot reasons over that. Copilot for Microsoft 365 reasons over that to provide you with relevant work-based answers. Most people don't understand the graph or all the other things that can feed into it from different applications and from different capabilities. And so we have named that Work IQ. So Work IQ amplifies your own knowledge about an organization and the work that you do. It's that intelligent labor layer that enables Microsoft 365, Copilot, and agents to know how you work, who you work with, and the content you collaborate on. So the Work IQ layer is the big differentiator between your standard Microsoft Copilot chat and Microsoft 365 Copilot, right? The free versus the licensed version, right? And there's APIs that can be used when building agents to connect to that Work IQ layer to make agents even more powerful. Fabric IQ brings together analytical, time series, and location-based data with your operational system. So, of course, Fabric is our large-scale database capabilities, and Fabric IQ is the data and information that is stored within it. But it goes beyond that in terms of the way that it can be accessed by agents. And Foundry IQ is, think of that as the umbrella of all of these different systems. Foundry IQ works across Azure, Microsoft 365, Fabric, and other line of business systems that you have, and can connect to that Microsoft Agent Factory so that as you improve your implementation of AI and start to move into building custom agents, you have this ability to get to all of the work data that's in your environment. That's when agents are even more valuable than they are the ones that come out of the box, like researcher or analytics or create, right? Those more powerful skills. Foundry IQ is really the way we're bringing all this together. These things together, Work IQ, Fabric IQ, Foundry IQ, and the Agent Factory really cement the AI strategy that Microsoft is coming to the table with. So I'm writing a blog about this to break it down more with regard to how leadership should be thinking about it, how change champions should be thinking about it. But you're going to see these terms across a good deal of the Ignite content. And so I wanted to cover them here. Also, we've introduced something called Microsoft Agent 365. Agent 365 is a new SKU, but it's really important because it drives something that we're very focused on in the safe, secure, and sustainable implementation of AI, which is transparency. Agent 365 allows you to see all of the agents that are being used in your ecosystem, right? And we announced this alongside Security Copilot being brought into the E5 license area. So these two things together give IT admins and security folks and people absolute control and visibility over what's happening in their environment, right? That helps reduce the AI anxiety that keeps people from really learning, right? These capabilities that allow you to understand what's been the registry, access control, visualization, cost analysis, all of these things, that is a stressor for many people when it comes to thinking about their AI implementation. As change people, we need to remove those stressors. We need to help IT remove those stressors so folks can actually learn and think about the creative ways that they want to use AI and the rest of Microsoft 365, frankly, to further their own business objectives. So I'm very excited about Agent 365. It's part of the Ignite Book of News, which we've linked right here on this slide. And that book of news has also been agentified this year. You can get summaries or listen to a podcast of the book of news, which I find very exciting. We have rebranded, as Jesse mentioned, the sales development agent, and this helps sales teams scale their selling capacity. We did have a sales agent before. It is now been retooled, if you will, and is available through the Frontier program. And let me keep going with some of these here because I click through a few. Oh, I love this one. The SharePoint admin agent. This is lovely. So this allows IT admins to scale their governance, right? It monitors inactive sites and overshared content. It can help the SharePoint IT admin make sure that the data that is in your system is fresh and healthy and should be reasoned over and hasn't been overshared. Oversharing is, of course, a core concern during an implementation of AI. Nobody wants overshared data. Nobody wants that. And so the SharePoint admin agent will allow a much broader, but also simplified and streamlined way of doing this work, which is a theme. I saw this at Ignite. Just myself, I noticed how we're maturing these capabilities. You know, over the last 3 years, we've been working on AI. We've just been putting stuff out, right? And testing things in the Frontier program and the Insiders program, lots of churn and change. But now we're getting to that point where Microsoft takes its real might as a global company and does what we do best, which is mature services for global consumption. And you'll see that across many of the things that we're doing. Yes, there's new innovation, a ton of it, but also really leveraging that in IT footprint and security footprint to improve things. 3 new agents, Workforce Insights, People Agent, and Learning Agent. These are available in Frontier. Definitely recommend for all of you the Learning Agent, but also the People Agent. The People Agent, however, one thing you should think about is it will require folks, you might need to run a campaign on getting people to update their profiles. Because it looks at that profile information as well as what people are working on. And so if you have skills aligned in your profile, it's very helpful. And so for me, if I was rolling this out, the People Agent broadly, I would definitely want to go through a campaign of when was the last time you updated your profile? And your picture, by the way. No pictures of cats. Please give us your real picture. Microsoft 365 Copilot Business. So these are new offerings for SMB. And I love when we embrace SMB as its own segment and continue to provide value there. For $21 per user monthly, Copilot will automate everyday tasks, right? And so we know that. This will be generally available in December. It's a different price point. And so this includes this smaller offering for folks with less than 300 users, right? So it moves that price point from 30 to 21. It still is giving you all that capability of Microsoft 365 Copilot with that work IQ and that ability to extend agents, which I believe in SMB folks really need that definite help. Yes, sorry about that. SMB is small and medium business. Big updates to Power Apps. There's an entirely new Maker workspace in the Power Apps space. And the Power Apps Model Context Protocol, MCP server, will connect AI agents and to the logic and the data already defined within the Power App. MCP services are key in agent development. Especially when you get past kind of your initial phase of learning how to build agents. I'd say they're like 250, almost 300 level when you're connecting to that MCP server. Yes, of course, it's simple when you know how to do it. April Dunham makes all of this look really simple, but it took me a minute to read through the documentation, practice a few times, understand when I should be thinking about an MCP server, what the scenarios are. So if you're a builder or a maker, you can do this. But give yourself the time to go through April's videos as well as the other training material we have on Copilot Studio. And if you've been building in Power Apps, you'll have a background of knowledge that will allow you to integrate this in, it really pretty easily, I think. All right. I can't believe I made it through all of those things. Obviously in the book of news, there is there's a lot going on. There's a lot more announcements specific into the Azure space. Tremendous amount of work going on over there. So if you work in both areas, I highly suggest that. I'm a fan of the podcast of the Book of News. I really enjoy that tremendously. I like to listen to stuff like that as I'm walking or what have you. It gets me away from my desk for a minute. So I like that they've upgraded the Book of News in that way. I should also mention that some users will also see our new Ask Microsoft agent on our tech community. It is in a limited ring preview right now. As I mentioned earlier, we're using the new framework to build agentic experiences that will connect the Microsoft Tech community to adoption.microsoft.com, to the AI Skills Navigator, which is also in public preview, so that all of this will be connected together. And you will be able to go to the AMC page and say, I have a company that has a retail stores in 3 locations with 700 employees, right? How should I roll out Copilot? And it will give you the right information. We are testing those prompts right now. We have to convert more of our content out to web-based content so that it can be reasoned over by the LLM. But I'm really excited to make that kind of work more accessible to people and more customized more quickly so that you can get back to the business of supporting people in your organization actually learning, because them building skills is so important. I'm excited also because there's more events coming up. Now, you can still go participate in Ignite. You can go to ignite.microsoft.com and register and see the keynote and see all the sessions. A lot of great sessions that are out there on SharePoint, on Teams, on OneDrive, on everything that's in the Microsoft 365 space, including Copilot, of course, and Copilot Studio. And we'll be talking more about this. Saturday, I leave for Dublin. I'll be going to Dublin to ESPC, and that conference is always fun. Wonderful people there, and I'm really excited to go visit. Of course, we have the Fabric Community Conference and our lovely Microsoft 365 Community Conference coming up next year as well. So there's always a lot of fantastic events that are happening, but don't forget to visit communitydays.org to find a local event near you, a little bit smaller, where you can maybe just lean in and have some of those questions be answered. Communitydays.org is where you will find all of that information about those things. So now, yes, Adam, the community, yes, that's an update that needs to be done. The Microsoft 365 Community Conference will be in Orlando this year, not in Las Vegas. So we will fix that slide. As well as ESPC is only ESPC now. They never call it the SP conference anymore because there's so much that happens there. So I will fix the slide. Thank you for that.
I do want to address, we had some hiccups for folks joining in this morning. I have a separate chat with the Teams webinar team, and I'm going to do a revisit and review of the workflow for the getting to register and getting the link and all that stuff to make sure that it is smoother
Fantastic.
I know of some tweaks I can make already with the feedback that folks have already given me. So thank you for that.
I know that we're at time. I appreciate all of you. Yes. I wanted to say one more thing. Keep the questions coming. Visit the Driving Adoption Forum on our tech community to keep the conversation happening. We'll keep talking about these best practices. One more thing, I believe it was Nicola who was new here and was working with her SharePoint and Copilot product owners. Get the Teams person in that group. You're going to need them very quickly. So yeah, I'm really happy that everyone was here. I hope you have a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening, and we will see you again very soon. Thank you all.
Thank you.